Hello there and welcome to the fourth in our series on fussy eaters. Today we're going to talk about whether the children's taste buds are being affected by some of the other foods they eat.
Especially sugar. Right?
And yeah, we're going to start off with sugar and talk about some other things, because one of the things that we've noticed in our practice with children is that if a child eats a chocolate brownie and then you give them some broccoli, the broccoli won't taste very nice. So the comparison between a very sweet food and then a normal food like broccoli or meat will be very different for the child, and they're not going to like it. I mean, we all know this. If we eat some chocolate, eat a biscuit, and then try and eat a meal.
Peanut butter with cheese or jam, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite nice actually.
Is it?
But having something sugary always puts you off something that's quite plain and not sweet afterwards.
Yeah, because it's quite a strong flavour, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and I think that something like broccoli can be sweet, but if you've already had something sweeter, it won't taste sweet. I think cabbage can actually taste quite sweet, and cucumber, tomatoes.
Yes, but our taste buds can actually get distorted by eating too much processed food where there's a lot of sugar in it. And processed food is not just cakes and biscuits, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm thinking processed foods that are very highly flavoured, like crisps and Doritos, pizzas, hamburgers, hamburgers that you haven't made yourself at home.
Yeah.
But the sort of food that we do get a little bit addicted to, especially the crisps and the Doritos and those sort of ready meal kind of foods, they have an awful lot of flavourings in them. So when children become used to that very strong, very nice flavours, then it can seem really boring to just eat some plain rice, some plain vegetables, meat, pulses. It can just be a very boring thing for them.
Yeah, just don't underestimate the food industry. They know exactly how to make you get addicted to their food. They know about the bliss points. So, and that's why we can so easily get addicted to processed foods and just have too much of it, and then there's no room for anything else.
No, and I think that's why Doritos are so nice, aren't they, really? Because they do spend millions and millions of pounds on making sure they're just the right amount of sweet and salty and crispy and fatty. And we can't blame the children for wanting something highly flavoured like that. Yeah. But of course, all the additives in those foods the body just doesn't know what to do with them.
Yes, gets very confused, which we're going to talk about in the next video.
Yeah, and that can cause intolerances and all sorts of allergies and problems. But our concern today, talking about taste buds, is that these spicy, strong foods will put children off eating plain kinds of proper home-cooked foods.
Yeah, especially if you are not really used to cooking with herbs and spices and you just steam the vegetables, they can actually taste very bland in comparison. Yeah. So we would encourage you to first of all take stock of how much processed food your child is eating, and then maybe make the vegetables more flavoursome.
Yeah, I'm thinking that serving a green vegetable like broccoli or cabbage, spring greens I sometimes buy, if you actually put butter on them and a little bit of salt, because remember the child is used to having salt in their crisps and their pizzas and that kind of food. When you're serving vegetables, make them nice.
Yeah, or actually, like if you put kale, I mean, not many people cook with kale, but kale is actually quite nice if you chop it up and you put it in the oven, you make kale crisp out of it, and with some tamari, which is a soya sauce without sugar, it's actually delicious, and some garlic. I mean, garlic is brilliant as a flavour.
Yeah, I sometimes stir fry cabbage in olive oil, butter, garlic, and salt and pepper.
Garlic is brilliant. I mean, when I was a child, I loved garlic. So
Interesting.
I think your children will love it too.
Also, we were talking earlier about roast vegetables, weren't we? Because children often love roast vegetables. So just chop something up, put it in the oven with some olive oil on it. Don't forget a little bit of salt because it has to have flavour, and children absolutely love it. A lot of veg caramelises in the oven, doesn't it?
Yes, and you can actually put some Mediterranean herbs on it. It doesn't matter which ones, because if you use...
Are you thinking oregano?
Yes, and basil, thyme.
Just the dried ones, dried ones that you can keep in your cupboard.
Or a little bit of rosemary, or even a mix of these herbs, and maybe not put too much on the roast vegetables at first, because the taste buds are still a bit distorted from all the sweet taste in the processed food. So just gradually increase the amount of herbs you use and the variety.
Yeah, and we sometimes hide vegetables, don't we, in sauces. So once I like my hand blender to whisk things up and hide it in a sauce. I use tomato sauces. I don't know what you use, Sabina.
I use beetroots instead of
tomatoes.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I can't have tomatoes, and not too many, so
I just use a simple tin of tomatoes, whiz it up with some flavourings like some herbs and spices, especially the Italian kind that we get used to with lasagna, bolognese, and then the vegetables can be hidden.
Herbs again are brilliant in tomato sauce.
I've actually got a spice that's just called Italian seasoning. I think it's oregano and basil mixed up, so that's quite easy. Gives it a pizza flavour, and children like that with a bit of grated cheese as well. So just make the vegetables flavoursome, serve them with something proteiny like some meat. You've probably got some good bean recipes as well that we're going to put up. And we just think that those sort of foods the children will begin to like. We've seen children start to like them.
And herbs and spices actually are a very good way of stopping food cravings, and especially for sweet things. So the more herbs and spices you use in the meals themselves, the less cravings they will have, the less hunger pangs, and
so less snacking you mean, and less sort of craving of the
so it will make everything
stuff.
More satisfying for the kids and for yourself. And just as an encouragement, we can reprogram our tongue within 40 days. And herbs and spices will help with that.
And it's not about going cold turkey either.
No.
It's about gradually replacing these things.
So very, very, very tiny amounts
tiny
at
little
first.
Changes and
because they might just like say, oh, this is too bitter or too pungent or too, you don't want to put them off herbs and spices. You want to actually encourage them to like them. So.
And we have talked about helping the children to have a little bit more control over what they eat. So some children will actually like to have a say in which herbs and spices they use. Let them choose them in the supermarket, let them try them, or just have 2 at home. You don't have to spend a fortune on herbs and spices. Have a couple of dried jars of them and let the children choose between the 2 and experiment themselves.
Because it doesn't matter whether they choose oregano or thyme or rosemary. It doesn't matter.
Or cinnamon.
Cinnamon on roast potatoes are really good.
Or even in the sauces, cinnamon gives that sort of sweetness to a sauce that's not too sweet. It has
actually a naturally sweet taste.
It does, but always a little bit of salt and anything that makes it nice to eat. Because we want to enjoy the food. We want the children to enjoy the food, don't we?
Yes, we do. Like like adults.
I like my food.
Oh, me too.
Okay, lovely to talk about this. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.